The B-way you see him when he's done eating wings, he was like,
he doesn't do his
he be like this. But he don't know that he just ate wings. Like, what happens all day?
It's like Will Ferrell and Talladega Nights. He's like, what do I do with these? Just keep him down, man.
Man, I don't even eat mushy wings too often.
He's like a
dry rub.
I'm more of a dry rub
That's
guy.
even more embarrassing than you want to do with your hands.
like
Really, with dry rub, you just go.
He like this.
I'm a liquor, man. You gotta lick
Whoa,
them.
hey,
Pause.
Damn.
I don't think that's a pause.
If you guys feel that way, then you guys gotta take the pause. I mean, I'm feeling comfortable on my
No one
side.
eats wings
get
unless
liquor,
you're
huh?
no eats
Liquor
wings unless you've
sometimes.
ever seen.
What?
No,
You eat wings?
I don't remember you ever eating wings.
I used to. ABG used to get them like fried.
That's really big,
The one
big
time
bones.
they came out, they weren't crispy enough. So he sent them back. She put them in the, you put them back
Like
in the
give
fry.
sauce
They get
on
black.
with the sauce on them.
He ate them like that.
From like burnt, like a damn.
Nah, but I hate when they come back with the sauce though.
I used to tell him, this making sauce, I don't taste no chicken.
Hey, just once a week, man. That's all you gotta do.
You don't like
He
that?
like hates that. He likes the sauce.
I don't
Yeah,
contribute to
I
the
said, I said, get mine crispy. I want mine not crispy.
Yeah,
I like
they don't know what
I
he's
don't.
talking
Yeah, yeah.
So
I
this
like
brings
it.
us down.
So many
Oh,
groups
yeah,
I don't
okay.
even.
about. Mine came out good at.
No, that's what it is.
Where were we at? Nah, we were at the Nut, and he was like, "See, man, mine came out the same way yours did."
I hate it, man. I hate it. You gotta add that to the list.
No, man.
You can't-
Nobody likes their wings soft.
I like my wings soft.
He's the only one I ever heard to get my wings not crispy.
Got sensitive teeth.
That's
Skin's
like
all,
the
like, skin's all nasty and chewy, it's like bad.
I can't.
We live on both?
I won't send them back.
Where did you go? Cameras rolling?
Sometimes I'll give you one.
We are. We got 4 viewers. There's everybody sitting here.
Here we go. Y'all ready?
Yes, sir. Are you?
I'm always ready, man. Microphone check. Hey, I see ya.
I got you.
That's the world's most popular barbershop talk, man cave conversation. However you like it or dislike it, this is the Heavyweight Champ of Sports Talk podcast. This is your Opinionated Facts. I'm one of your hosts, B-Way. To the right of me, I have everybody's favorite Puerto Rican. Everybody's favorite a-hole.
Nobody has a favorite a-hole. People avoid them.
You're my favorite a-hole. That's how I came up with it.
That's not normal. You're supposed to avoid a-holes.
You're one of the only a-holes I talk to in life.
Cross that off my list.
Good. To his right, we have the Donald Trump of Sports Talk podcast. The last man in the redhead assassin Indian clan still alive. The guy that gets it popping in
Whoa,
the
you
old
gotta
head
say Native
community.
American now, or
Yeah,
indigenous
man.
people.
What I say?
2019.
You can't say Indian no more.
Indigenous
I apologize. I truly feel nobody has had it worse than the Indians,
Well, I disagree.
than the Native Americans or the indigenous people.
I'm not gonna get into a big discussion, but Native Americans got land. Slaves got released with no money, no land, no education.
And the Jews.
If
went
you
to the
have
gas
land,
chamber.
you can always make money.
And
They
the
didn't
Jew-
even give them
I'm just
education.
saying, that's facts. The Jews went to
All right.
the Jews went to the gas chamber.
That's
There's
true
a lot.
too. Holocaust.
Some people had it
in
worse.
America though, right?
Yeah.
In
so,
America.
Come on,
yeah.
nah, you just can't. Come on.
They gave them reservations though. They didn't have it worse.
I mean, they had to start their own schools on the reservation. They just
Don't
put them in the
matter.
middle of
You
nowhere
have
too.
land, you have money. You
You're
have
around
wealth.
nothing.
You have wealth. They lived off the
They
land.
lived off of
There's a
nothing.
nice documentary on Netflix, sports documentary.
All right,
that- All right, you're right. The guy that gets it popping in the old head community, Mr. Red is in the building. Daddy is Stephen Doubt.
Oh yeah, we about to be a problem.
Oh, he's
We
talking
made no
stuff
famous
too.
statements.
Problem.
I'm about to say, don't make no bold statements,
Stop
man.
it. I'm just confident in our team's ability. So I'm not making
Somebody
statements
else
that
wants
we
to
can't
see
back up.
So somebody else
he's
was
talking
We just
way
gotta
too.
go out and do what we gotta do.
He's
We'll
talking
be
way. He's
fine.
talking way too much.
Shout out to Seaboard Conference though.
Hopefully you win it.
They're gonna play this. He's giving them billboard material. To his right, we got S. Rudolph. Are we still calling him Mr. 20K? Because we
Why
go
not?
20. 'cause we do 20K like a day now.
When's the last time you played?
Like,
Oh,
no.
never.
Nah,
We did
Mr.
20K
20K is in the
times,
building.
though.
I was the first to do it. I'm the
We did
originator.
30.
He was. So we can call him. We
20,000?
can
Yeah.
keep calling. We
20,000.
can call him
We
Mr.
did
20K.
30,000.
For real?
Yeah.
I was the first.
So
Yeah.
Samar brought the ratings. Samar gets ratings.
I mean,
Nah,
it
he's not
was.
here. We did several after that without him.
It was Coach Smallwood too that was there. So shout out to Coach Smallwood on that 20K
Oh, man,
too.
That was rough, man. I remember that. Doing the interview and forgetting the questions. Like,
Yeah,
right in the
Jack-
middle.
All right, man. You guys are giving out personal information. To his back is popular author Mr. R.J. Rogers in the building. What's up, man?
We're going to be 40K today. I'm bringing the views here.
40K.
I'm bringing 40K.
Say it like you mean it.
What's up, fellas, man? How was y'all week? It was a big week for the Opinionated Facts family, man. That group chat was going crazy all week.
Probably use the best material in the group chat.
Yeah, I wish we could publish our group chat.
I don't want to recycle that information.
You don't want to?
I don't want to use the same stuff I said there.
We got to give the people what they want.
Should give the people.
Shout out to Jalen. Yeah, I ain't gonna steal that. Shout out to Jalen and Jacoby, man. The biggest story of the week, obviously, is Jay-Z being employed by the NFL. He is now the marketing director for the halftime shows, or
he was hired. ROC Nation was hired to basically work on halftime performances and selecting who was going to perform, and to augment the NFL's social justice initiatives by developing content and spaces where players can speak about issues that concern them.
Whatever that means, because no one really understands it.
As long as he does.
Is that a win for?
I think we should go one by one and say where we stand on this. Knowing, getting Samara to explain what the deal is, whether you understand the full language of it. So I say we start with Jamil because he's been the most passionate. Somebody got to start.
Right.
Like, we start with Jamil and we work our way, and whether you're for it, against it, in between on it, just let me know how you feel on it, and we go from there.
All right. Well, it's two separate issues. I love Jay-Z. Blueprint, we all think it's a classic, it's great. So I'm going to take that, put it to the side right now.
Let's go. Just say
first.
We need
I want it to be under. Let me finish.
I know we want to break it down,
but
we'll get to that
because people want to make it about.
Don't
Jay-Z.
go the Stephen A. route.
Okay, so because to me it won't matter who's in this position. It's not about Jay-Z. It's about what the situation itself.
I agree. Take the name away from it.
So let's take the name out of it. You put anybody here, it'd be the same. I have the same opinion. I think that Jay-Z is being used for the NFL to deflect from its PR problems that they're having as far as race relations, as far as the league is concerned. So when you take the biggest black celebrity that identifies with the hip-hop community, with black culture, has the biggest name, the biggest voice, the biggest face, and you put him out there and say, look, we're with him, you now get to deflect. You get everybody to look over and say, okay, look at him. And we no longer have to look at Kaepernick and look at the issues that Kaepernick was trying to get people to focus on. So my opinion on the issue is that Jay-Z signed up to be a distraction for the NFL.
Knowingly.
I could not.
Knowingly.
I could not disagree with that more.
So that's why
I think, number one, no one in this room is turning down a job from the NFL. No, none of us.
None of us
take
in
the
this
name.
room.
Doesn't make it right, though.
You take the name away from it. You say you take Jay's name away from it. No one in this room is turning down a job with the NFL. On top of that,
hold on.
Jay don't need the money. He's a billionaire already.
You can't. None of us will.
I'm ready to go.
None of
I'm
us
sorry,
will.
but I'm ready to go.
Because we're not billionaires. If I was a billionaire,
And that's what I'm
then
saying.
maybe I would turn it down.
Jay don't need the money. He
We
didn't
don't
take
know
the
what
job.
money he's
It
getting.
don't matter. He didn't take it because he needed the money. We all know that.
I don't know about that.
No, we all know that he didn't take a job
disagree
from the
with
NFL because he needed the money. Just like the same reason why he walked away from being the president of Def Jam. He didn't need a check from them. He said he didn't want to go to work no more.
He didn't but he didn't take the Def Jam job because of the money. He took
Exactly.
He took the Def Jam job though to get his master's.
And he got his master's.
So he took it
and
for
he said
something.
he was tired of having a job. He didn't need a check. Jay don't do things for checks anymore.
Well, it's a financial asset. His masters were worth more money than any money they could have.
Now,
Even back then.
He took a deal because they offered him his masters. It was no brainer.
Exactly.
So he
You
took it
take
for
it.
himself. Then.
Owning his masters is what made him a billionaire. But
He's a
big chunk
billionaire.
of it
He's a
now.
billionaire.
So that's what I'm saying. So he took it for.
He needs nothing from no one.
He took it to advance
Forever.
himself.
He don't have to make another song. Make
We
another
don't know
deal.
that. You're
do
assuming
anything.
that.
He's
You're
gonna be
assuming that
good.
he took it to prove himself.
Well,
That's
he
not
wouldn't
real.
have taken it
Hold on.
without his masters.
Hey, hold
I'm
on.
talking about
Hold on.
the
Let's go
deal
one
for
by
that.
one here.
So
Views,
Anyway, let me
views.
finish. Okay. See, they got me over here cut me. They mad over it. I don't know if he's mad, but Samar,
Not mad.
Samar, he doesn't. He don't really care. I don't think. But
I can't.
My thing was
Y'all can't.
with Jay taking the deal. I don't necessarily agree or disagree with it. I think that I disagree with people's reactions to it, because
I agree.
Jay. Yes, we look at Jay as like a guy, so we're removing him as a guy right now and saying just as a regular person.
I don't look at Jay no
And
guy.
we're looking at it like, oh well, Cap still don't have a job. It ain't about. This was never about Kaepernick having a job. This was about the social injustice, which Cap did his job. He brought all that attention and awareness to it.
Debate. You're supposed to say if you agree or disagree with it.
Well, I was getting to the point why I don't necessarily disagree with it. I don't disagree with it because Cap did his part.
Jay-Z, agree with it then?
I agree with him necessarily doing the deal because I don't feel like he did anything wrong. He didn't stab Kaepernick in the back like people were saying. He didn't do anything wrong.
So your position is all good.
I feel like he didn't do anything wrong.
Until everything comes out. Yeah,
until we see exactly what comes out of this, he did nothing wrong. He did exactly what any other activist probably should do.
My opinion on it, if you want to look at it today, the NFL's up 1-0.
Thanks.
But true change happens from the inside out, not from the outside looking in and protesting. So depending on Jay-Z's intentions, if his intentions are pure and he's in those offices pounding the table for social justice and not thinking about who's going to do the halftime show, then it's a win for black people and Jay-Z.
Can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
Quick. Does the NFL not struggle with Trump followers more than they're struggling with the hip-hop community?
What do you mean?
Well, the
Kaepernick, it was the issue
I
for
feel
them.
like Trump supporters are harsher on the NFL than the hip-hop community is.
Yeah, but in their mind, all they saying is Kaepernick caused it. But like I'm saying about the deal, you can't judge it today. We can't be prisoners of the moment and say Jay gave the NFL a voice overnight because we don't know what he's going to do. The only way to have effective change is from the inside.
Why do you say
Jay's track record of the Malcolm Brogdon? I mean, not Malcolm Brogdon. What's the dude from the documentary he did? Khalif Browder. Him. He uses his lawyer all the time from ROC Nation to get people. Meek Mill, but that was more Robert Kraft. But he uses his lawyer all the time for social justice issues. So his track record shows that he is down with the cause. So we need to judge him 6 months to a year from now and see if he can makes any change. You can't say he signed today and all of a sudden he's a sellout. We didn't even give him a chance to do anything yet.
That's what I feel. That not the hip hop community, like whatever you want to call it, is always quick to call somebody a sellout. Other words that
except really, Jay. Jay never got called this.
Jay's getting a lot of flack.
He's getting a lot of
from this. But before this,
exactly, we've been
Jay been walking on water.
What has he done for you to criticize him?
He was cool.
Oh no, I can. No, Jay hasn't said. Jay's been one of those dudes, in my opinion, who just he don't say. It's more powerful for Jay-Z to stand up and say, what these people are doing is wrong, and I'm against it, and I feel as though there's systems in this country that is treating black people or making life more difficult for the black community. What he'll do is just do a documentary and say, I produced it. Or what he'll do is say, I helped out with this lawyer fee, or I helped out when whatever. He does things with his work, but his voice would be more powerful than his work would ever be. Some documentary on Trayvon Martin, yeah, it's cool, but why can't you just say something? Because the voice comes with consequences.
Yeah,
the visual
right.
More.
What has he ever said? Tell me one thing.
I will say this. This is an important quote. Those who base decisions on principle and not some snapshot of public opinion were often vindicated over time. Everybody in the social media era, everybody that comes on, everybody has an opinion. But I'll quote Coach Millie, which I use almost every day in my life, is it's okay to criticize and attack what we're doing if you come to the table with a better plan. Isn't that how you worded it, B-Way?
Yes.
You can criticize or complain about something, but you got to have an alternative that is better. You just can't criticize.
Or an idea. Like
you got to bring something to the table. You can't say, oh, Jay's a sellout. What is the alternative? What do you do?
Him a sellout. I don't subscribe
You called him worse, man.
You did call him worse.
So like,
we had group chat conversation, but I'm talking about my thesis is not that, and I said this in the group chat. I wouldn't call him, like, someone can do a sellout act without being a sellout. you can do something that I'm like, you know what, I don't like that move. It don't mean that it embodies your entire person. I'm just saying this move, in my opinion, I can't.
But you give no alternative. So it's like, it's kind of
What do you think Jay should have did?
or anybody should have did.
I think Jay-Z should have done what he was endorsing and promoting everybody else to do when he came against Rihanna and Travis Scott and a whole bunch of other people saying don't perform with that.
That was
don't
the
work
only
with
part
that.
of the press conference I didn't like. And I'm always going to everything neutral, like with like a referee mentality. I watched the press conference. I thought Jay did a good job of answering questions, except for the fact when they asked him, why would you tell Travis Scott to not perform in the halftime show and then go make a deal with the NFL? Now, the part I didn't like is Jay's answer, because Jay said, nobody asked me why I told Travis Scott not to do it. I told Cat not to perform in the Super Bowl because he shouldn't be second fiddle to Maroon 5. I think he's being disingenuous because he implied that it was over to Kaepernick.
Yes.
He never said it was
It's
not.
deeper than Travis Scott, though. It was other entertainers
I know, but I'm
who
saying
were
from the
saying
press
that behind
conference.
the scenes, Jay was positioning people away. And that's why I was saying...
But he's only on record for the one.
But
Everything else is from hearing other people saying it. Jay said that he didn't want Travis Scott doing it. So for Jay to say it out of his mouth and then say, make a deal, and then come back and say, well, I didn't mean it for that reason. It wasn't about Cap. It was about him being second fiddle to Maroon 5 in a year where he was a headline star.
But he's made positions in his music and other things against the NFL.
I agree.
He's taken a position similar to the position that I'm taking now. These people did something that is clearly a reaction to a black man voicing himself and having the ability. This guy did not shout. He didn't put the middle finger up. He didn't say anything disrespectful to no one. He didn't try to rally other players to get down with him. He sat on the bench in the beginning. He wasn't even taking a knee. He just sat on the bench. He didn't even and didn't just participate in it. Then he took a knee. He never did anything.
He took a knee because of Army veteran told him, don't sit down, it's disrespectful to take a knee.
Okay, so whatever the reason, what I'm saying is, the NFL,
We've been there. We all agree with that. I agree with you about the Kaepernick thing. But my thing is, how do we move forward? What's the next step? He brought awareness to the cause. That's a fact.
All right, so
What do you think?
in our age group, we're all mid-30s, right? We came up with Jay. Jay always been the culture. And for the most part, he
wore do-rags at MTV. He made them love you.
yeah, like, Jay was the guy. He told us to wear throwbacks. We started wearing throwbacks.
They went to button
He
up.
told us to wear button-ups. We started wearing button-ups. He said gold is white. We're going to platinum. We couldn't afford it, but we were...
We got more silver.
Yeah, we tried. I mean, whatever Jay said is the standard. So when he said we're done with the NFL,
we was all mad.
We-
I mean, agreeing with him.
yeah, we were like, all right, you got a point, Jay. Like, we trusted you.
I was not done. I don't
Yeah,
know what you're talking
But
about.
we was all agreeing with Jay.
Yeah,
And
like,
we
we
all
all
agreeing
agreed
with him.
It had nothing to do with Jay. We agreed with Cat.
Yes.
It was nothing to do with Jay.
All right, but Jay stamped it. What did that do with it? Nothing?
No.
Not for me.
It was already done.
All right. So you
25%
guys,
of the NFL was kneeling at some point. It just started to dwindle down.
so that's the one thing you guys didn't go with Jay on. I stood with Jay like, yo, I feel you. I wish I could, Jay. I just can't roll with you on that one. If I could get rid of the NFL, my life, I'm a football guy. That's what I do for a living. But you took that stance boldly and then discouraged other people from
that's
joining them.
Yes.
And now you're joining them. That's
Yeah, but
what
what
makes
is
it
the
bad.
alternative? Give me something. How do we move from next
Jay
point?
is
keep
big
pushing-
enough. Jay is big enough to
Keep
do
pushing
things
the
by
issue.
himself.
Okay, would you not agree though? The most effective change is from the inside out.
No.
You don't. What's the
No.
best way to
Because
change?
you know what? I don't know what example. That's a quote that got popularized. But if you look at it, I can't think of black social issues that got changed from the inside out. It wasn't like we became the police commissioner and then changed how all the police officers were patrolling us. No, it was the Black Panthers just out there fighting against the system. It was it was people marching. It was people fighting. It was people saying, we're not going to ride this bus. It wasn't like someone got into the bus depot. It wasn't that someone got into these schools and said, now that I'm in here, I'll let blacks in. We fought on the outside to get things. I don't know of
But
any racial...
You can make the most of. If your intentions are pure, if you're in the room and you can change a policy that is more beneficial for minorities, it's easier to do on the inside.
Well, can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
Do you think, does anyone here think that Jay-Z, as big as he is, that he has power to go up against 35.
31.
Yeah,
32.
31.
Well, he's not an owner yet, so.
He ain't gonna
teams.
be an owner.
And these guys who colluded to get Kaepernick out of the league, do we believe that Jay's going to go in there and be able to change all their senior minds?
No.
No.
But where do you start?
The alternative is do nothing?
What does Jay-Z say? I'm not black, I'm OJ.
No, OJ
Okay.
said that.
Yeah, OJ said not black. The
OJ
song.
said
the song.
Yeah, but
So like he knows like it doesn't matter it doesn't matter what you do.
yeah, but we gotta start doing something, holding ourselves back. Some guys trying to,
Mhm.
far as we know or don't know, we don't know. We're gonna find out in the next few months. But you can't assume he's not going to. He's going in there to make change.
Mhm.
Let's see if he does it before we criticize him.
All I'm hearing is hypotheticals, man.
We have a
Alright, so
comment.
does
Hold on,
anyone
hold
here
on.
believe?
Hold on. We have a couple comments. So we have one from Buddy Calhoun. Appreciate you watching, supporting.
Buddy.
He said, I think people often only believe what white people say. It's only true if white people say it's true. Let's congrat Jay as a black man and see how things turn out. Put your faith in your own people.
On that, I think I'm not congratulating him yet either. Like I said, it's undetermined right now. We're going to find out in the next few months to a year if Jay's in there making change. I'm not congratulating him, and I'm not going to bash him either.
Yes.
His intentions right now, as far as we know, are pure.
Hold that
Until
thought.
proven otherwise.
One more comment. David Tinkus, thank you for watching and supporting. He says, performance at halftime insignificant compared to this new platform. If that's what he is designed to do,
That's going to be bad for Jay.
how much change is he going to
If
make?
Jay goes in there and he's working on getting Rihanna in the halftime show, he's messing up. And then we can criticize him harshly.
Yes.
We gotta get Memphis Bleak.
The thing is, I'll ask Jamil, does he has a business degree? What's the only way you get any major deal done in business?
What side are you talking on here?
Either side. If you got a major deal to get done and both people have power, each side has to give something. Because the NFL doesn't really need Jay.
Jay don't really
Yeah,
need
Jay
Jay
for
either.
this
And
issue,
Jay
though.
don't really need them.
But
But they
the
need,
thing.
in regards to this issue that they're dealing with right now,
They don't need it. It looks good for them. They didn't need it.
does anyone here think that the NFL has pure intentions here?
No.
Anybody here?
No,
They're
they
a
needed a
business,
PR boost.
But that's the
so,
point.
Okay, I'm sorry, go ahead.
That they were willing, like the rumor came out that Jay-Z stopped Jermaine Dupri from taking the same deal. You know how much of a joke it would have been if the NFL tried to hold a press conference with Jermaine Dupri in the same position? Jermaine Dupri came out and gave his opinion on female rappers and people laughed at him. He doesn't have the same voice, the same platform as a Jay-Z. So
Maybe he did a good job. Maybe Dupree does.
this
Well,
ain't the 90s.
He's not
the culture.
He ain't the culture. No.
Yeah.
So death.
So my question, I guess I'm saying, if we're all in concurrence here that the NFL does not have pure intentions, so what's that mean that Jay-Z is being used for?
It don't mean you're being used. It means you had to give a little. I give you this little bit of publicity so I can make some change on the inside.
So why are they doing this? I'm saying the NFL. You think?
The
Forget
NFL.
about Jay-Z for a
Well,
second.
hold on.
NFL's a
We always said the
lose-lose,
NFL's
man.
up 1-0. I said that from the very my first statement. The NFL's up 1-0. But the NFL don't need Jay.
NFL don't need anybody.
They
So-
need him for this situation. Though.
But why would the NFL get in the business with Jay-Z unless they're getting something out the deal? They have to get something out of it.
You can now distract from the issues that Kaepernick was presenting.
Yes, but Jay also gets a chance to go in there and make change. Now, do you think Jay's mind frame changed on making this deal after Kaepernick settled in court? Because Kaepernick
Yeah.
and Eric Reed sued the NFL, and the lawsuit has been settled. Kaepernick has been paid. Now it's time to do something. We got to take the next step in the process.
Can't just
All right,
keep
Dixon, what you
giving.
got?
I look at it as we talk about the nepotism in the NFL. You see it from towel boys, to any position. Like I feel like with Jay-Z in there now, I feel like he's going to make his hires. We'll be able to start doing that. You'll be able to start seeing that generational pass down.
I don't think
Where
Jay's
people have that in there now. Where you start seeing more people like us.
I don't think Jay's in a position to hire anybody from that deal he got.
I don't think so neither.
But if he can go in there and change some policy and start a change, that is a win for everybody. Not just black people. It's a win for everybody.
We have another comment from Roger Colbreth. Roger Colbreth Jr. Thank you for watching. Appreciate you. He said, right, he was one of the most critical of the NFL. To make this move without the backing or even input from the movement discredits Jay's intentions. Jay still hasn't vocalized his intentions to make any changes. He just alluded to actionable item, what is the actionable item?
We're gonna find out. Why are you assuming it's negative?
But why couldn't he talk about it then at the press conference? This is my plan.
Why assume it's negative though?
Can't tell everybody you're playing before
Well,
you do it.
Why? Yes.
Why not? In this case, you have
Minorities
to, I
always
think.
assume it's negative. That's what
But that's
minorities
not
do.
a good way to go through life.
Unfortunately, we've had so much negative happen to us over systems of periods of time that we're accustomed to
Who's
thinking
that
negative.
coming from?
That was Roger Colbreath Jr.
I would ask Roger to tell me what plan did the movement have in place, or does he think would have been better? Because Kaepernick didn't come out and say this is our next move.
Kaepernick don't say
He hasn't really said
anything.
anything.
Jay didn't either, and he had the platform in the press conference to do so.
Moving
Like,
forward.
I plan on doing this moving forward.
He said he's gonna go there and make change. We don't know, but why are we gonna assume that he's
No,
gonna go
but-
in there and not do nothing?
Every time someone comes out and announces a partnership or agreement with something or a plan they have, when a presidential candidate makes their bid for the president, they give you what their plan for the country is going to be.
Not all the time.
They-
Not all the time.
No, they
Not
don't.
all the time.
Well,
But they have their
No.
agenda.
They
Everybody has their
said,
agenda.
they said, go to my website. I got a whole list of the plan.
All right,
You go to the
well,
website.
all
yeah,
right, where's
you
the
know-
website?
Okay, nothing's
Give
on there
me
though.
something, Jay.
Nothing's on there though. You go look.
This donation.
Our current president wanted on. I got a real great plan to know all the
You know
smart
what?
people.
You know
They're
what?
going.
And and he plays to the lowest common denominator of this country intellectually. What I'm saying is,
President.
Jay said nothing, and he sounded like a politician.
No.
And it's come from a guy.
Jay sounded good at the press conference. You disagree?
I think it sounded like a
He
politician.
speaks well.
He speaks.
So that's a
Thank
bad
you.
thing now?
No, I'm
it's
saying.
not.
Come
He
on.
said he
Come
sounded
on.
good. He
The
always
Jay-Z,
sounds
I'm
good.
saying
he sounded
Did you
like
watch it?
I
He
watched
answered
the
all the
clips.
questions. He handled it pretty well. Besides the Travis Scott question, I thought.
He said a whole lot of nothing. Like he didn't say
Well,
anything
asking
that
two
we can
people,
chew
they know
on,
what the issues are, what's
which
going
is
on.
why we don't know what's even going on here. Nobody knows what's going on.
I still haven't heard one solution to what was next. I'll play for
kneeling.
anybody watching the show to give me a comment what they think should have been next.
But what's
Besides
the
doing
solution?
more of the same.
So,
Keep
is,
kneeling,
so
keep
is the
kneeling.
solution here, let's get Jay-Z to provide halftime for the
Well,
Super Bowl?
We were gonna find out.
Is that the solution?
No,
Well,
that's part of the deal. You can't make a deal with the most powerful corporation in this country without giving them something. You can't do it.
Agreed.
You have to give them something. I can't go say, hey, I want to sign with you. I ain't bringing nothing to the table. I'm not doing helping you with nothing. I'm just gonna do protesting.
But for the movement, Jay's core base, like this is only going to lose Jay's core base. Like he had nothing to gain from it.
I think. So what? That ain't why you make. I said
Yeah,
based
yeah,
on
you
principle. You gotta do what's right, regardless of what people think.
The same white folks who were not paying attention to Jay-Z, thinking he was a gorilla-looking big lip monkey, is still thinking he's a gorilla big lip monkey.
Now
Like,
he's
that's
Beyonce's
the-
husband. Now I changed it.
That might have changed it for
It
like.
did change
man,
it.
for
he-
pop
There's
culture.
people I work with now that know, like, oh, that's Beyonce's husband.
Yes.
That's how he's known.
But it's still not going to be known for helping out the NFL. Like it's
Jay-Z's track record suggests that he's gonna go in there and try to do something. I would say that. He's
Yes.
been really on all social issues for a while now. He's been doing a lot to do with it.
and he has been.
He's
That's
doing a
what hurt
documentary
us.
right now on Trayvon Martin.
Yeah, that's what like hurt my feelings when I saw this.
So I'm saying, why are you?
"Oh,
So he's doing
man."
all this the last couple of years, and now all of a sudden you're gonna assume that all right, he's gonna do something negative.
Did he do? But did he do all this to
I
get
don't
this?
think he's going to
NFL
do
job?
something negative.
he's been
Let's be
doing
clear
it.
here. I have no position that he's going to do something negative. I think he will try to do some things.
Let's find out.
To the
Let's
like.
see.
But what I'm saying is, he's allowing himself to be used by a group of people to distract from their problem
For the
And-
greater goal, though.
We gotta see. We gotta
He's
see
sacrificing for the greater good, and I don't know if he's doing that for sure. I'm
You
hoping
like
he's
the way he
doing.
spoke about Kaepernick about we're past kneeling.
we are past kneeling.
Are we?
I mean,
I
at,
feel
It's
like
a symbol.
it's a symbol, but there has to be some movement.
But if you go by what
behind
Kaepernick
it.
said.
Like he said, there's two sides to protesting. I feel some type of
Our
way
voice
about
has been
something.
heard. Now let's do something.
I feel some type of way about something. I'm gonna tell my whoever is like, I don't like this, and they're gonna be like, I hear you. What are we gonna do to fix this?
Hold on, we have a couple comments here.
Before we go to the comments real quick. Kaepernick said on the first day that they interviewed him after he kneeled, why are you doing this? I'm doing this to protest social injustice and police brutality and bring awareness to it. That was his only statement. He hasn't really said it much since.
It's
Well,
evolved,
I think
though. The issue has evolved.
The issue was involved from other people, not from the originator. So for what Kaepernick wanted, he's made it's awareness now. Everybody knows about it. It's all, talked about in all circles of life.
Yes.
So if Kaepernick would have came out and said this is the next plan, and then Jay went against it, then it'd be a bigger argument from the Kaepernick side. But he hasn't said nothing.
It has been talked about,
Not from the
but
originator.
But I'm talking about it like he brought awareness, and the issue has been talked about. But nothing's really done. There was a kid shot in Colorado last week.
Well, you're not going to change it.
You're not going to
You
stop
cannot
but
stop
listen,
it.
nothing happened to that officer. That's all we want is for officers to be held accountable when these actions happen.
You know what, though? And I argue this thing at work all the time about officers getting off. I don't like when they should be at least fired every time, most of the time. But unions make it, you're in a union, I'm in a union, it's hard to fire some people in the union. My problem is when they go to trial, a jury of 12 never convicts them. That's not a police problem, that's a people problem.
Yeah, if it gets to trial.
Because the majority of suburban white America thinks the cops are always going to be in the right. They don't see them doing the negative.
Yeah.
So you go on jury, the guy from South Carolina shot the guy in the back and put the stun gun by him. On camera, is as guilty as you can get, and he gets a hung jury.
Yes.
So it's not, whose fault is that? That ain't police's fault, that's the people's fault. The people of South Carolina acquitted him.
That's one. But there's a lot of times these things don't even go to trial.
I know, and I hate
the
it.
guy in Minnesota, it didn't even go to trial.
I hate it. The guy in Seattle, this year we're doing a basketball season up in Seattle or
Yeah.
Sacramento.
Yeah.
Shot the kid in the backyard about 12 times.
Yep. It didn't even go to trial.
And it goes, no, they say it was the kid was pulling, it looked like he was pulling something out.
That's all we want. Like we don't. If he gets to trial and it's not guilty, okay. Like
Yeah.
it's still terrible.
Nothing
But-
Kaepernick can do or Jay can do is going to change that.
We want officers to be held accountable.
I do want that.
They need rules.
And people always say that, put yourself in officer's shoes. Officers take that job and swear to an oath to be above the average person.
Yeah.
They got to be above it. They got to be more, they got to you're held to a higher standard, as I always say. As a fireman, I'm held to a higher standard. I can't do certain things the average person can do because I hurt the public opinion. I hurt it if I do something wrong.
Yeah.
Same with police, but they sometimes always get a pass for some reason.
A comment from Buddy again. He said, "You don't get paid to perform at the halftime show." I think that's why Jay and ROC Nation stepped up to fix that. Also, that's the reason he told Travis and Riri not to perform because they wasn't getting paid.
That's not what Jay said, buddy. Jay
Ro-
said that he told him not to perform because he was going to be second fiddle to Maroon 5. That's out of Jay's mouth.
Roger responded to you when he said he was vocal in his support for Cap, not an assumption. Why can't he just be as vocal when signing the deal? This could have been the next step, but why was it done without the movement?
Jay could have went to the press conference and beat the table if he wanted to. I'll give him that. If you want to do that, that's not usually how you get business done, but he still hasn't given a solution to what's next. What was next? Jay is going in there supposedly, as far as we know, to make change to social issues.
The next, though, is not, like, do you think, when you see Trump say something like, go back to where you come from, and then he gets accused of being racist, so on his next press conference, he has Ben Carson behind him on the left, and Tim Scott behind him on the right, and he's giving a speech. What do you think that he's trying to say?
We all know what he's trying to do.
Okay, so
same thing NFL's doing right now.
Okay, so when you see, and we've saw this in so many situations that have happened, Fox News does it all the time. They'll put the 3 black commentators on to say why the cop should have shot the black guy, and it makes them feel like, see, I'm not racist when I say it.
We all agree with you.
Okay, so my problem is, it's one thing.
But what's the answer?
So my problem is this. It's one thing if you take a guy who is he's struggling, he got some problems, he sells out for a reason. I get it. How does Jay-Z, who don't need these people, don't need to do this, why would he let himself be the Ben Carson behind my left shoulder?
Sacrifice for the greater good.
Okay, so is Ben Carson sacrificing for the greater good?
No, that's just what he believes in. He ain't got to, just because you're black don't mean you have to agree with the black movement. I don't think Ben Carson does.
Okay, so all these black people
dumb,
we see
smart guy.
doing this on political issues.
Ben Carson's a dumb, smart
But
guy.
Do we think that they're just doing it for the greater good, or they just believe in it?
Well, Jay has a history.
we're talking about Jay-Z. I'm not going to defend Ben
But
Carson
it's
anyway.
the same type of issue, though. Jay-Z
It's not.
is allowing himself to stand on the left shoulder of the NFL.
And what did we just say? We all agree with you.
So
NFL's up 1-0. But you got to give them something to get something. You can't go in the meeting and say, I'm not going to give you nothing. What do I get out of it? For a
playing
good
chess.
business deal, both sides have to get something. NFL gets Jay-Z as the face,
okay.
and Jay-Z gets to change policy.
Before we move on, Jay has a history of doing this. We talked about it with the Brooklyn Nets yesterday. Can you give that story on how the Brooklyn Nets brought him in?
So when the Nets were trying to move into Brooklyn, there were a lot of people, locals, that have no voice, so we don't really hear about it on big national networks.
This one national though. This news about this.
Yes, in certain cases, but it wasn't a big story because they're poor folk. So poor folk don't have voice. But a lot of people in the neighborhood who lived in that area, okay, they were going to use eminent domain to seize the land.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
LGH did it over here on James Street.
So now, poor people, and it's a heavily minority neighborhood, they're renters. They don't own properties and things like that. They're renting from people who own these properties.
Same thing in Chicago.
So bringing in a stadium substantially increases property values out of this world. Now you are raising rents on regular, poor, working people. They took almost 30 acres seized almost 30 acres of land. They pushed many other homeowners and business owners out with the threat of just seizing it. So they just were forced to sell their business or sell their property. But there was a movement, Cornell West was involved in it, trying to stop this stadium from coming in. The people were largely in that area against them bringing this stadium in. So what they started to do, they hung this humongous billboard in Brooklyn with Jay-Z right in the middle of it and a Brooklyn Nets symbol on top of it. It was a psychological thing. It was marketing. It was telling the people.
Smart marketing.
Well, no, they used
I'll
the
tell you this from
beloved
business.
child from Brooklyn and said, "Look, you guys all love him. Stand behind
Yeah,
him."
it's good. It's smart marketing.
But why is Jay-Z allowing himself to do that?
They were taking that land no matter what. It's happened in Lancaster. I can give you 5 counts happening in Lancaster.
They were having.
It wasn't gonna happen?
The people were rising up against it.
No,
and
they
resisting it.
They were
It
taking the
wasn't
land no
gonna
matter what. They used Jay to save face with the public.
I'm about to say, that's
So,
the point he's
but
making.
you're missing
He's
my
making-
point.
No,
Why
and I don't-
is
why
Jay-Z
does Jay have
doing
to
this
do
to
it?
his people for?
He wanted to bring Jay-Z wanted to bring an NBA team to Brooklyn. Whether it's right or wrong, if you think it's right or wrong.
So you
that's
keep
your
missing the
business.
point about.
I understand.
it
I get
happened.
your point. I got your point.
What I'm
100%.
saying is, why is he doing this when he knows
Ask
he's
him.
just being used for his brown face?
We just told you. He made how can you make a deal with the NFL without giving him something? How can you do it? Give me one solution. There's no way to make a deal with the NFL without giving them something, Jamil.
Why do we have to make a deal with the NFL?
That's what I'm trying to say. Why are we making a deal with them?
Because-
Keep pushing forward.
You go. The best change is made from the inside. I already said that.
I
If
disagree.
Jay goes in there to change social justice reform, and he does that, and he gets in there and does it, then he's doing the right thing. If he doesn't do that, then we can hammer him. But we haven't given him the chance to do anything yet. We just gonna fucking roast him.
You didn't give him a chance to even finish his press conference. It's like it is what it is at this point, and
You can't make a deal with the NFL without giving him something. He gave him a face. They gave him a chance to make change. Now we gotta see if he makes change. If he does it, we'll come back here next year and I'll roast him with you.
So we have more comments. Derek Gardner commented. Shout out to Derek. I don't get why people are mad at Jay-Z. Why not be mad at the players that play in the NFL?
No.
that's a good segue, Derek. So just Eric Reed, when you hear him, what he said, like smart guy. Like I'm not here to question his intelligence. He comes off a certain kind of way. Like it, you took you and Kaepernick have been started this protest, and you really never gave us a vision to what you want outside of protesting. There's no, we want to work towards this. So you have somebody like Eric Reed, who's very adamant in how he feels about Jay-Z making his deal behind Kaepernick's back, or we use the word asinine when it came up about Jay-Z possibly being an owner. Does it take away from what he's saying, and he's saying that in front of the NFL locker room, like in front of his locker in the NFL locker room?
I think, for example, if the Kaepernick Jenkins thing didn't happen on the field with Reed Jenkins, do you think you would have the same opinion you have of him now? Because I feel like if Reed only spoke the way he speaks, nobody would really criticize him. Because usually he always sounds like he's right.
It's not really the
But
whole...
he looked crazy when he was going up against Jenkins. He did look crazy.
He feels some type of way. All the details about what Jenkins did and the Players Coalition, taking the money to get to the programs that they felt needed, in our country, that needed backing from the NFL. Whether that was enough money or not enough money, that's a whole different subject. And whether Jenkins is an ego or not, like I feel like he's been protesting, putting the fist up, just like Kaepernick took the knee, and Jenkins has been putting his actions behind what he says, and he's trying to make a difference. So that's different from somebody like Reed, who you want to negotiate with the NFL. Oh, that's not enough money. That's not enough. Like whatever his argument is towards not taking. I think it was 88 million or whatever the number was.
I forget it was a year ago.
Yeah.
I
So
sent you the video. Remember when we broke it down?
Yeah.
Shit made a lot of sense, didn't
Yes.
it? It made you side with Reed 100%. Reed made one comment out there this week that was pretty smart again. He never really said anything really dumb, but he said, "What all this did do? What did it do? It took Stephen Ross off the front page."
Okay.
So Reed has a point. This deal with Jay-Z, nobody talked about Stephen Ross with the Dolphins holding this thing for Trump.
Exactly.
So
Whether he
in
says
that
what he
sense,
said,
yes, he made sense on saying that too.
whether he said what he said about Stephen A. or
No, Stephen Ross.
Well, no, Stephen A. Him and Stephen A. had a back and forth.
Oh,
Stephen A.
yeah.
Smith had a back and forth, and he said what he said about Jay-Z. It's just my problem with more so. Both Reed and Kaepernick. There's never been we want this. We're usually when people protest for something, it's like we want to bring light to police brutality and social injustice. How are we gonna do it? And then when somebody like Jay-Z steps in with, he doesn't need the money. Like that's like he's not like.
That's going to knock on Jay right
The
now.
thing, but is
Did
it
he
a
do it
knock
for
or
the money?
is it a positive? You're saying he doesn't need the money. Why would he do it? Maybe he's really trying to make
Exactly.
change.
So he's trying to make change, and then
But
you
why
knock
nobody
him
see from that angle though? I don't understand why
because
nobody
he
sees from that
didn't
angle.
quote unquote ask for permission from Kaepernick. Like that bothers me to
They
like
said he
certain-
spoke anonymous.
But that's the point. But like, why is
Yeah,
it
but Cap said he
me?
didn't.
Why is it me as a grown ass man? If I have,
Cap's girlfriend said he did. Cap hasn't said anything.
Yeah.
if we believe
Well,
in the same
That's been
thing,
his mouthpiece for the last year or so.
with his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Why
This is the
can't-
first time I heard from her. I didn't know.
Nah, she's on.
She made some. She got him in trouble too.
She's on Hot 97.
Well, he's about to get a.
She works for Hot 97?
Yeah, she's a radio personality.
So that
What's her
doesn't.
name?
That's what I want to say.
Oh, this is like this whole when she came out talking about this is the first time.
But
I
when
heard
Cat
her.
was supposed to get his tryout with Baltimore or somebody else, and she went online and started bashing and hurt him. So she hasn't really said a whole lot. She's a radio personality. She's got to put herself out there.
Yeah. Well, to answer Derek's question about why we're not mad at NFL players, I'm not mad at anybody that has to do what they have to do to provide for their family, and that's what they're doing. And they have a real good job of doing it. Jay don't need this to provide for his family, and he spoke up against other people taking this route, and that's what bothers me a little bit. I'm not mad at Jay either,
I agree with you.
but I'm just like, yo, really?
My biggest
it's
thing-
not.
My biggest thing with the situation, Jay-Z could have sat there, signed this deal, did all this, and Roger Goodell first, though, would have had to say, we recognize how we handled the Kaepernick situation wasn't right. The
Good
NFL was wrong, and we are here. We recognize that we were wrong. Before you do anything in life, even down to a simple husband and a wife, and someone has an affair, that man has to own up, honey, I was wrong. It will never happen again. Before you can move forward anything, you have to own up to what you do wrong. And the NFL gave out 2 settlements and then say, you can't talk about it.
That's all business. All
And then,
lawsuits are held that
but
way.
if you want to move forward, and that's what Jay-Z's in there saying, okay, what's next? Okay, first, before we go forward, can you tell the world what you guys did was you did try to blackball these guys. And you guys were wrong, you're sorry, and you want to move forward now.
I would
cool.
say-
So let's hold hands and move forward. But can you first tell everybody that you guys, what you guys did, and you now see it was wrong?
Do
And
you
that's
think
why
the
we're
NFL would have
partnering.
did it though?
Huh?
The NFL wouldn't have did it.
No.
Okay, so
But
and
how do you
that's
make
my
the deal?
problem.
Like, how do you make the deal?
corporations.
So that's my okay. So they're giving nothing, and
We don't
we're
know
giving
that yet.
everything.
We don't know that yet.
All you gotta do is say because it's
It's
a genuine.
1-0.
It's a genuine moving
We'll see what
forward.
Jay does when
It's
he gets in there.
Because Jay can say, "Cool, you know what? They owned up to what they did. Now we can move
Now I
forward."
will tell you this: do you realize that Roger Goodell does not—he's the head of the league only because the 32 owners put him there. He only speaks for what the owners voice. He can't give no opinion on what he believes. He speaks for the owners.
And in my opinion,
So Roger Goodell couldn't have said anything that wasn't approved by the ownership.
so my opinion is simple. Jay can do this. Anyone can get in, and I don't care what anyone could have done this. If the NFL could
The
have
NFL wouldn't want anybody
There's
Could
though.
have
no
at
other,
least-
there's nobody
okay,
else
well,
with big impact.
You know what though? Nobody would be coming at Jay-Z if Jay-Z at least forced the NFL before he even brokered the deal. Listen, I'll do this with
For
you,
one,
but y'all gotta
You don't
own up
force the
to what
NFL
y'all
to do
did
nothing.
wrong.
The NFL
Them-
doesn't get forced to do anything.
Them settling with Kaepernick and Reed is sort of an admission of guilt. So it's kind of like, why do you have to say the same thing twice?
And I don't-
Actually, it's not. That's the historical answer of rich white corporations. Throw money at my problems and make it all go away. That's what.
They
That's
could've,
been
but
going
they-
on pre.
The settlement was kind of bullshit. I agree with Jamel, only because the NFL was not going to settle until the judge ruled that they had to give in their cell phone and email records. A week later, they had a settlement. So but you could also argue the other side with Kaepernick. If he really wanted to get stuff out, he didn't have to settle. The thing is, though, the NFL would just threw money at it, and he would end up lost.
Yes, exactly.
But if you were really down with the cause, it wouldn't have been about the money. He could have said, "I'm going to go to court and have all these records come out." He could have did that.
No, I agree with that. But
he took a settlement.
That's fair.
He did what was best for Kaepernick.
He needed the money.
And
that's fair.
That's what was best for Kaepernick.
And Jay-Z is another example of the NFL throwing money at the cause. At least get them to own up to what they did.
But they're not going to do it.
So what are they doing then?
I feel like you're disappointed in Jay. And most people are disappointed in Jay. But
that's all it is.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's all it is. Yeah,
that's not mad. We're not.
But
I'm not hating on him. I'll play his music on the way home.
No.
I'm just saying, it's just the way he went about this. He never even made them say, look, we were wrong.
You can't make them do nothing.
Well, you can by saying, I'm not giving you my signature to use my black face and have my whole community
and
look
I'm
at me like I'm
sacrifice
crazy.
for the greater good, and I'm going to make some real change. But everybody's disappointed. Disappointment is the difference between your expectations and reality. The reality is he had to do it the way he did, I think, to get a deal.
Yeah.
Be disappointed all you want, but that's your expectations. Reality is, I don't think he could have went the way you wanted to go.
Are you disappointed in how he handled this, from what you can see, which I can see and we can all see right now?
I stand by statements I made throughout the show. I'm disappointed in what he said about Travis Scott, 'cause I think he's being disingenuous. As far as the deal, I'll pass judgment when he has time to make some change. If he comes in next year and he got the whole ROC Nation up there doing a halftime show and nothing's happened for the social movement, I'm going to be angrier than you are today.
So here's my prediction on what happens. We'll get some commercials, some social justice commercials about injustice done to black people on halftime shows and throughout NFL games. He'll get some, and he'll call it a success because he brought some awareness by putting out commercials or having them sponsor some documentary films or having the NFL.
That ain't going to be enough.
But that's what I think is going to. These guys are big. These people are not going to shift.
That's all we got from Kaepernick.
Don't forget that what he was hired to do. His job is to give a social platform for athletes to voice their concerns. That's what the agreement was for. It wasn't about commercials, about none of that. He's supposed to create some change in there.
So why is this no different?
Developing content. Maybe you can consider commercial developing content. I don't know.
That's my
prediction. It ain't gonna be enough though.
We'll see the NFL sponsor like Black Life Matters freaking documentary film or some kind of social justice movement film. Or,
that would be a start though.
Or commercial. And Jay's gonna call it a success. Well, look at what I did. But and we'll never just and Kaepernick will just be erased.
But why?
And what he tried to bring will just go away.
Why is this no different than Kaepernick? You know, going away for having been 2-3 years and then popping up with a Nike commercial when Nike is their biggest sponsor.
I think they're black man getting paid, man. Like he has a job. He needs a job. Like, he's not. You're talking from a guy who don't need the money.
Jack, you got fired from work because all you did was say, "Stop treating these people the way you're treating them over there."
Take a settlement from
and now they won't let you work anywhere.
You didn't take a settlement. They
hold on.
I don't want to get this.
They're not letting them work anywhere.
Huh?
He could go to Canada.
I'm talking about he can't play for any team in the NFL.
Hall of Famers have gone
only
to Canada.
Because he did.
Hall of Famers came from Canada and became Hall of Famers. They didn't go back up there and come back.
Warren Moon went out there.
Warren Moon went there, was a legend up there, and then came here and became a Hall of Famer.
I thought he was here first.
He didn't pan out here.
That's the point.
I don't think he was even drafted, was he, Warren Moon?
Well, all I'm saying is he played here, and then it didn't work, and then he went to Canada. He's like, oh, wow, he's really good, and he came back.
The thing is, Kaepernick shouldn't have had to. It's obvious collusion to hold him out of the league.
And
that's not a debate.
They have to at least own up to that.
They're not going to own up to it.
And if you break it down to a micro level, and one of us, Samar, speaks up at work about social justice issues, and he gets fired, and then he can't get a job at any fired house in the county. And now I come in like, yo, partner up with me. And yo, it wasn't about Samar having a job, just boom. No, you have to understand.
I don't agree with what you're saying.
You have to understand what they did to.
They kind of did admit there was something going on with the settlement, I feel like.
How? That's what they always do. Rich people throw money at their
problems. That's what they did, but you still have to be.
All right, that's good.
That part of it's kind of moving forward. Like, they settled. He got paid.
Let me get to some of these comments because we enjoy our people watching. Let's get a couple here. William E. Way, appreciate you watching. He said Jay is taking heat because he supported Cap, supported the protest, told Travis Scott not to perform, told JD or Jermaine Dupri not to take similar entertainment deals, and now he joins the league. That in of itself looks funny.
That
Outside
was
the line,
pre-settlement though.
Yeah, that's a business deal. In other words, so you can't knock the hustle. It goes on, but I'm not going to read all that because it's just long.
Shout out to Billy Say Less podcast, but I would like Billy also, maybe even today on his platform, to let me know what the next step was. What did he feel like? What should Jay have done? What was the next thing in this protest? You can't just stay with the kneel. I don't like how Jay-Z worded it in the press conference, but you just can't. It does make sense. Settlement here, Cap got paid. Where do we go next? We can't assume that Jay's not going to do anything. We don't know what Jay's going to do yet, so we're just going to assume he's going to do nothing.
I don't think anyone's assuming he's not going to do
anything. They are,
nothing.
because it's too early to make a decision on it.
I'm not assuming he's not going to do nothing.
You just said you assume that he's going to have a couple commercials out.
I think that he'll do things like in concert with what I just said.
So you are assuming some things.
Well, I'm just giving what
you are assuming some things.
I'm giving you what I think's going to happen.
That's called assuming. That's assumption.
A couple more comments was Roger commented again saying everyone keeps talking about the next step. This very well could have been the next step, but now that Jay's intention seems disingenuous.
Why does it seem disingenuous?
The foundation of the next step is shaky at the least.
But why does he assume it's disingenuous?
William Way commented that we got to stop saying a hustler don't need the money. A real hustler never stops hustling.
I don't want to make it about money. Because the same way you say he don't need the money, you shouldn't have did it. I can say he don't need the money. That's why he's doing it. So he must be doing it for a good reason because he don't need the money.
I'm not saying he don't need the money. I'm saying there's other ways.
No, he doesn't need the money. We ain't got to sugarcoat it. He don't need it. Jay don't need the money.
I'm not telling nobody to
I'm not saying don't get money. I'm saying Jay has built up this reputation that's almost unprecedented from a rapper. Why? He knew he was going to take flack for this. There's no way Jay didn't know he was going to take flack for it.
Yeah.
So I would assume, if I had to assume, I'm not going to, that he's probably doing it to try to make some real change. Because why take the flack for not making change?
So what's your guess on, do you think that Jay-Z, a sole person, can have an effect over the NFL to do anything that's going to make all of us say, okay, cool, it was worth it?
No. Why would anybody do anything?
I don't think, but I think you got to start somewhere. Small change is change.
All right, so
you got to start somewhere, though.
Like, NFL players are not happy with their jobs, like with their how they're controlled in their jobs. So just transitioning to Antonio Brown's tweet.
Well, before we move on, like with everything, you're very passionate about the subject, Jamil. Is this gonna stop you from watching games on Sunday?
That's not the issue.
I'm asking you a question.
Probably not. No.
Okay.
But that's not the issue. That is nothing. That is.
And why give them your rating? And why give them if you
because
don't?
It's not about that.
It ain't them.
It's not going to do with
it is
these
them.
players.
It's the NFL.
Just been playing football since they were playing in the backyard or playing out in the snow. These guys just love playing football.
That's not why they're playing, though.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying, but watching the game or listening to Jay-Z, that's always somebody's distraction point of the issue. Like, well, you play Jay-Z's album, so why are you saying this?
I'm not saying Jay-Z. I'm saying the NFL. The NFL, is what it is, but you're still.
I do agree with Jack on this point. If you're so anti, you haven't said this, but a lot of people are so anti-NFL, but they still support it every Sunday. It's kind of hypocritical.
Yeah. I'm not anti-NFL.
You're calling Jay-Z a hypocrite.
I get mad at the NFL every preseason right now when Cap is not signed after one of these quarterbacks go down. It that infuriates me to the point where I don't want to watch it no more, and I just can't stop watching it though.
But I would say, B-Way, from you, the same as I do, we know some players that play in the NFL. We have some inside knowledge of what the NFL does for a lot of black people, right?
Yes.
Does that not change your opinion to not dislike the NFL as much? Can we see all the avenues they give players? Because the average NFL player doesn't complain. It's only the stars that complain.
Yeah, I just keep
that's fair.
What goes back in my mind is just like all Cap. Like you let racists in, you let other people in, like you let rapists in, and all Cap said was, "Yo, they're shooting people out here."
He didn't even say that. He just back down, took a knee. He didn't say nothing.
Yeah,
and we're not letting you in because of that.
That's terrible. I don't agree with it. But to say the NFL is a plantation, or like, I think it's ridiculous.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that.
Think about if you had Chris Whistle on the show, what do you think he would say about the NFL?
It's life-changing.
Life-changing. The opportunities he's given, Harvard Business School, UCLA Law, the things they give you for free, the opportunities, the internships.
Exactly.
It's unbelievable.
So
The only
you-
people that ever complain about it are the ones making the most money.
So to use the Eagles as an example, our backup quarterback got hurt. Well, the two backup quarterbacks got hurt. The one's out until week 3, week 4, injury to non-throwing hand. They signed Josh McCown, 40-year-old, 17-year vet in the league. Say whatever you want to say about him. I think he's the best backup available. But that's neither here nor there. That's my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
To bring in Kaepernick to compete for, because Sudfeld being what he is, he's entrenched. He's 2-3 years into the system. Is he some great world beater? No. And if he's playing, the Eagles are in trouble.
That's a bad way to look at it, I think.
No, hold on.
You cannot sit here and be neutral and say you'd rather have Josh McCown over Kaepernick as your backup. Because
That's my third string.
Or even as your backup, would you rather have Nate Sudfeld?
He's been playing in the
Players came off the couch last year, literally off the couch.
It's not just
Johnson
the Kaepernick.
for the Redskins,
It's not just the Kaepernick.
Mark Sanchez for the Redskins, and
What
they
did they
played
do?
within a
What
week.
did they do?
I'm just saying, people are getting signed right off the couch with no knowledge of an offense.
It's not the Kaepernick
Kaepernick is
signing.
better than all
It's
of
everything
them.
that comes with it.
I do agree with that. It's going to bring
That's
some.
it. I don't
stuff.
feel like he's gonna
But
push
did
Wentz to the point to where it's a quarterback controversy. That's not the problem.
Bringing some negative press is not a reason to say you can't sign somebody.
So it's okay to sign, like we had
And I feel
Mike
that
Vick being signed.
Yeah.
With the dog thing.
right. He went to jail.
We had Donovan McNabb, who was a top 10
Yeah, he was
quarterback
a
at that time.
backup.
Yeah.
You
Yo,
had
you
no
know,
issue with
better.
that.
Anything-
Kaepernick is not better than Wentz.
It's
They
always
felt
about
like he
our
was in
voice,
10 years
yo.
in.
And Vick wasn't better than McNabb.
Yes, he was.
2 years out of jail.
Yes, he was.
No.
He proved it. He had an MVP
He's
season.
got a chance to prove it.
You're making my point that this thing for me, it's never been about us doing something bad or that action. Our voice was always the problem when we share and we talk. And that's when people don't want to hear, people don't like to hear their wrongs. And when you speak up about something that someone's doing wrong, especially people who control large institutions, big systems, major money, that's when they shut you down.
And at my point,
I'll
what you
forgive
said-
you for being a racist. I'll forgive you for shooting dogs, the most beloved animal in America. I'll
There's no
forgive
film
you.
of that, so that's
I'll
why it
forgive
came
you
back.
for anything. Brett Favre can put out a penis picture. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You can do anything but talk, and that's the thing.
If the president wasn't Trump, I think Kaepernick's back in the league. He made it a bigger issue than when the issue was almost dead. It was dying down.
Trump said sign him.
No, Trump said.
No, he said if he's good enough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good enough.
Now the argument
He
is
is.
he's been out of the league so long.
He's still good enough.
He should be in the league. There's no way around it. But like Jamil said, I want to add on that. He said if you're outside, they can shut you up. If you're outside protesting, I can stay in my office with the blinds closed. I don't even know you're out there. I can't hear you, hear no evil, see no
But the
evil.
people who buy
But
from
if
you
Jay-Z's
can-
in the room sitting across from you at that desk and he's pounding the table for you, you ain't got no choice but to hear him. And
True.
you got to find a way to get in there.
No,
And Jay found a way to get in.
disrupt money. So people outside
The
looking
money
at the
was not
protesters.
being disrupted though.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, but
Money
the
will never
people
be.
outside who can see the protesters, they go, "Oh, what are they out there for?" And now they're
As
saying,
they're
"I'm
going
not
into the
buying
game
from the
to
people
watch
in
the
that
game."
office."
I would tell you this: when a protest, and Caps was worth it, but when a protest is, for example, on a smaller scale, La Piazza, you didn't have to ask nobody to protest La Piazza. They joined in. You know why? Because it was worthy, and it was shut down, basically in a couple weeks.
Yes.
It was instant. Everybody rallied around it. You didn't have to ask nobody, "Hey, you should protest La Piazza." I'm not going to La Piazza, and it was shut down.
Nobody, we can't find.
I don't
We
know
can't
an
find enough
example
people to protest
of
the
any.
The NFL can't be protested because even when they had their lowest ratings ever 2 years ago, when they
Still
went
the
down,
highest, yeah.
they still were the highest grossing thing in America. Their preseason Hall of Fame game has more viewers than the NBA Finals. A game that means nothing.
Yo, it's bigger than Jay. The players, many players in the NFL, I think, also played a part in this, but I don't know of any major change within big systems that ever happened without people being outside in the streets.
There could be a first.
That's what started it, and we accomplished it. Cap started the movement for the whole country.
We didn't accomplish nothing from it.
I don't see how you don't think it. It definitely brought
What
awareness
got
to it.
accomplished? Awareness means nothing
There's-
if no action comes of
That's
it.
what Jay-Z got a job because of it.
Yeah, one billionaire got more money.
That's not true. Kaepernick and Eric Reed won a lawsuit settlement.
Yeah, they won it.
You had
because they
people
were
sitting
owed
around
it.
the table at work
All they
that
got
never
was what they were
even
owed.
cared about police brutality, having a discussion about it now. I'm having a conversation at work, eating lunch with 13 other guys, and we're talking about this now. Why? For one reason, because of Kaepernick.
Did they change?
And no one's changing.
mind
It's
change?
the same. Who cares about a conversation? That's
I don't know
gonna
if
go
you can
nowhere?
really truly change somebody, but at least you get the conversation started and you start the process towards
But you
change.
can change systems because we've saw it happen.
Well, I tell you what, taking a knee is not going to change the NFL. You got to do something more. It did change the NFL though.
No, we got Jay-Z.
So,
And when they put a
hopefully-
policy out that said you couldn't knee no more, what happened?
Okay,
The
hopefully-
movement got it took it away.
Hopefully Jay is in there pounding the
That's
pounding
what
the
I
table
hope.
for.
We
it.
hope.
You know what? I'm hoping the same thing.
But why?
That's
And I
all we
hope
want.
I'm wrong.
That's all we
Some
want.
people assume that he isn't. So that's the
I
problem.
ain't going to
That's the
assume
argument.
nothing. I'm not going to assume that he is. Because I told you, if we got back here next year on August 18th, 19th, whatever it is, and Jay didn't do nothing,
2000.
I'll be back there with Jamel. Like,
So
we
my
sold
last
out.
question I gotta ask is, would these opinions be the same if it wasn't Jay-Z? It was somebody else plugged in.
But it
Some
wouldn't-
other black man.
For
some
me,
other black
Jay-Z
boy plugged in.
had nothing to do with it. I take the person always had the argument. I'm just saying we got somebody in there at the table now.
If it wasn't Jay, he'll be a coon.
Exactly.
Whoever.
Because
No,
we didn't like even
Jay-Z's
seeing
getting
Tim
called.
Brown sitting
No.
there. Not Tim Brown. When Jim Brown was just sitting next to Kanye, he didn't even talk when he was in the Oval Office. He just was sitting there, and we was mad.
Look what Kanye was doing.
But Jim Brown was just sitting there.
If Jay takes
Well,
the
Jim
lead
Brown
with Trump,
has a history too, though.
so if
We didn't have to guess what Kanye was trying to do. He was over there praising Trump.
No,
You're
he's
judging.
trying to work from the inside tomorrow.
He
That's
was
all he's
not.
trying
You
to
could
do.
say
He was telling you, I love this guy. He's like a father figure to me.
Jim Brown wasn't.
But you're co-signing it just by sitting there.
So
See,
Jay
Oh,
meets
so
with Trump,
but why ain't
he's wrong.
Jay-Z
No,
co-signing
yeah.
it?
Jay-
Bullshit
it's
by
just
sitting
Trump.
there.
Jay is. What I just say?
Too perfect, and we left on an
NFL was
agreement.
up 1-0. I said that before you said anything. NFL was up 1-0. But you had to give the NFL something to get in the room.
To compare Trump to the NFL.
No, we're
that-
not. We're not.
But
Hey, you
Yeah,
really
you
can't do
we're
that either. It's
We're
like,
not.
there's
Like,
two extremes.
but to use that argument about this is anybody, you can't, because you have to judge whoever that person is based off their history. To judge Jay-Z off his history and what he's done, not what he said he's gonna do, not what you think he's gonna do. What he has done has
Yeah,
shown
his
that
background does
that his
something.
intentions are pure, and I can't judge you off what the
That's a good
NFL's been
point.
doing.
That's a good
So
point.
to
What do you
say,
mean?
But
Jim Brown's been fighting this fight for 50 years. And then
Exactly.
Jim Brown has a lot
for Trump, we threw him away quick.
nah,
I didn't throw Jim Brown away,
Jim
but-
Brown's been thrown away, like, and
I just wonder if
Okay.
we can't
You
let
can never
go.
think what Jim Brown did for the black movement back in the 60s, 70s?
yeah, but
60s.
it comes with bad
Him
stuff,
and
too.
Tommy Smith and
Yeah,
what's the other
man,
brother's name
like,
from the
people,
Olympics.
we get rid of you. Black folks are terrible to black
Well,
folks.
I don't think it's just black
We're
people.
our own
or-
worst enemy all
No,
the time.
it's this generation, this cancel culture. It's you mess up one time. I'm
You know
done
what that
with
is,
you.
right, Jack? Social media.
Exactly. I can't.
Instant
Instant gratification.
I unlike your picture. I do
We
whatever.
gotta wrap it up, man. This is big though. This is big because like you folks don't know that are watching are like that's that Rudolph over there is a Jay-Z stan.
I am, to be honest.
I'm not
Yeah,
a
like
Jay-Z
all
stan.
three
I
of
love
them guys.
Jay-Z, like
yeah,
more than anybody.
that's
I
why
got
I'm
a
proud
portrait
of-
of Jay-Z in my house.
yeah, that's why I was happy for
But-
Jamel, and I'm happy for Samar being neutral in this topic. Ray would have sat there and not been neutral. It's just hard to break through that layer of Jay-Z stanness.
I just think I don't want to say NFL gets a bad rap, but you could be a
NFL gets a
third
bad rap.
string offensive guard on an NFL team and not play a player down and get a free scholarship to Harvard Law of Business.
Well, they don't have third strings by the time season. There's only 53 mil on the roster.
It depends on the
Some
position.
teams-
Some go 3 deep.
yeah, they go
Some
3 deep.
positions go 3 deep. Running back goes 3 deep most of the time.
Offensive line, they got guys playing different positions.
Thing
I get
is-
what he's saying,
You can get a free education at Harvard Law of Business, Harvard School of
but it's the
Business.
NFL's fault. if you
NFL
blew
is
your
just
money.
giving people so much. We don't see it from the out. People, the average person is never going to know
They
it.
always blocked our voice. They never had a problem with us even having some shit.
At the end of the
Getting
day,
a
they're
job,
about their
being
bottom line
successful,
now.
doing
It's like every
something.
business is.
And for the most part, the NFL, their contract, the player contract is one of the worst too. So
Well, it
do
has
they
to.
have to give all these things? Like that's a benefit. And it's great. Like it's not a bad thing. But that's where they give a little bit more
But
rather
it's the
than
They
injury
do give a lot
rates.
more. Not,
the guaranteed numbers.
also,
the
the
guaranteed
average career
contract.
for an NFL player is 3 years. I mean, you ain't gonna be able to make a lifetime worth of money unless you're a franchise quarterback for 3 years and you're in your early 20s.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to have some other opportunities to make your life.
Quick question. Next year they're redoing the CBA, right? What is it,
Right.
CBA?
Well, it's the first year they can opt out. They can opt
Right.
out next year.
you
They're
guys
telling
think
people to save money.
you think we'll have a strike?
No.
They're
Because
telling
they-
people to save game checks now.
but they never do.
Yeah.
And like I said earlier about Antonio Brown, NFL players say a lot of stuff till they got to miss a game check. NFL salaries are broken down to 16 checks. You get paid one per game. And when players start missing checks...
Is that how it's paid out?
Every Tuesday?
Yeah.
Every Tuesday.
For real?
Yeah.
Damn, it's like a regular job.
Yeah, no, it's not, because you only get 16 checks a year.
So
I mean,
you
it's
thought
like
you just
regular
got a
job. Like,
lump
you
sum,
get
or-
there like 7 in the morning. You don't
Yeah,
leave
16
till like
days of
5 or
work.
6
But you only
in the
working
morning.
16 games. I mean, 16 days.
Yeah, so
essentially.
you don't get paid in the preseason. You ain't getting paid.
You're working year round.
You're working year round, though.
You
To
gotta
be,
stay-
a,
you gotta
to
stay
be a
in the
professional
So
athlete,
it's
you're
not
working year
broken
round.
out like throughout a whole year. It's just paid.
No, you get
Yeah.
paid 16 game checks.
Like teachers, we can get
It might even be it might count preseason checks too.
They might.
Yeah.
And they get paid for the mini camps too.
Yeah, but they're getting a stipend. They're not getting.
Yeah, they're not getting like.
They're not getting their.
the
Well, you
big-
get a contract for 4 years, $20 million. You get $5 million this year. That $5 million is getting broken down to 16 checks.
games. Okay.
There's a lot of NFL guys that ask for loans in the off season.
For real?
Yeah.
Just
Because they're messing up their money.
Yeah.
So they were going to strike last time. Everybody was on board for the strike. They missed what? One preseason game or two?
I don't think you got that far.
I think it got to. They missed the first Hall of Fame game. Got canceled.
Does the
No,
league
they got that
will the
far.
league give out a loan to someone who would?
No.
They can't give you nothing.
No.
Oh, so it's a bank loan.
They're locking you
no,
out.
like loans for the players on the team. Like, yo, what's
Oh,
up, homie?
I
Like,
mean, it's just
Everybody ain't making that kind of money though. Like you could be a third string DB making
NFL minimum
400,000.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's like 5 something, isn't it? Minimum.
It took
Yeah.
by position.
No, I thought it was like.
But the league
minimum
min
for
is
the
like
NFL.
5. No matter what you're.
No,
like 5
because
something.
as of
A
2 years
kicker's
ago,
getting
the
five.
minimum was for a punter was 425,000 or something like
Then
that.
you shouldn't be asking for a loan.
A practice squad player
You
makes like
say it's easy
300,000.
to say,
You gotta-
man. You
you gotta
say
pay
that,
two
but
brands.
some of these
You
guys,
never
they
know
come
that.
from bad situations. And
Hey, you taking care of Blue. You know,
Take
little
care of
Ray Ray, man.
everybody.
$500,000 a year. You should look.
You gotta take
You
care
messing
of
up
little.
how
that-
you living there.
You gotta take care of little Ray Ray and them.
Well, you don't have to take care of little Ray Ray.
No money, no
But
problem.
at 20, you believe you do though. At 20, you believe you do.
You're
That's
right.
true.
You're right.
And that's why players are struggling. But there's players that they're not on strike and they're struggling before their first game check.
Hey,
It's crazy.
So that's why strike ain't gonna happen. I don't think.
we gotta wrap it up. But Hove, this ain't personal. You know,
Sit down.
don't try to cancel us.
Be humble.
I mean, yes, this is just sit down and be humble.
No. We all came to a conclusion. We gotta wait and see. Now you're gonna say I'm sit down and be humble?
No, you gotta
Sit
be
down,
humble.
be humble a little bit, man. Sit down, relax a little bit.
No, stand up in there. I hope he's in there standing up, yelling.
I hope he is too.
Hold on, yeah.
Hey, but don't cancel us, man. Like you canceled our last YouTube video.
Copyright. He's
Anyway.
trying to take money out of his pocket, man. You know he's about his money.
You're right, man. You're right. I'm still trying to get on title though, host. So holla at me. Shout outs, people. Shout outs before we get out of
We
here.
hit one topic today.
I figured that's how it would have gone.
Mr. R.J. Rogers, thanks for joining us, man. Tell people where they can get your books again.
Anywhere books are sold, you can purchase my books if you want. We ain't got no shout outs. I love everybody. Shout out to everybody.
You gonna take mine?
Did you say you also have the black YouTube?
It's black though.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that.
the video might just pop up on you, but you got the black YouTube documentary type things he releases too.
Black 7.
You got 7 of them?
It's called Black 7.
Black 7. My bad. Look him up. Look him up on YouTube. S. Rudolph. Any shout outs?
Nah, shout outs to no one. Brother had to leave early, duty calls. You gotta go to work, so yeah, get that money, but Brandon missed it. We didn't even get to do his award this week. I think
Yeah, that
Jackson
was a
shouted
good
it out. Go
one.
ahead,
That was a good
Jack.
one.
I don't remember what it was, man.
It's about that. Oh, B-Way knows more about it. Sit down and be humble. Brandon Rudolph, Brad's award.
A quick overview. There was a lady in Arkansas who came home one day to 3 black teenagers selling discount cards in her neighborhood. They were on her lawn, walking up to her house. She said they were fooling around. Yeah, allegedly, she says they were fooling around. She pulls out her gun. She pulls it out on them and makes everybody get on the ground, spread their knees, and she called the cops on them. They were in her neighborhood selling discount cards. Other neighbors tried to tell this lady that. She wasn't trying to hear. She said they were fooling around. She called the cops. The cops came. They end up arresting this lady for pulling out her gun on the 3
They should
black.
throw the book at her.
Yes.
Because I don't hate to even say the kids were playing around. 'Cause I don't care if they were out there fighting. It gives you no right to go out there and pull a gun on them.
And now these kids
Your
are
life's
gonna
not
be-
in danger.
Yeah, I say these kids are gonna be traumatized for a while now, having to sit down like that and go through something like that for no reason at all. and they're out here. Like, this is me and Dixon and Jack probably, we were all in that predicament where we were out selling these discount cars, knocking on doors before when we were young. So to have these kids go through that at 15, 16 years old is just, she needs to go to jail.
What makes you think, though, you could be sitting inside your house and see some kids outside, I don't care what they were doing, and go out there and hold them at gunpoint?
Yeah.
Privilege?
Where do you think you go?
Yeah, what the?
And held them there.
Your life's not in danger. They're not messing with you directly.
Yeah, so
If
now,
somebody came around me and they ran away, I shot them in the back, I would still go to jail.
yes. The school district says that they're going to review
Oh, here we go.
the fundraising policy, and they might get rid of this fundraiser now because of the situation.
Why we do this all the time for?
But
Cancel.
yeah, so I mean, somebody pulls a gun, like you almost have to do something at the school district.
Well, why does one
the
person
school-
ruin something that's good for everybody? I give out trophies at my league every year, and one parent got mad at a girl didn't get a trophy, and they wanted to get rid of all the trophies. I'm like, what are you gonna let one parent ruin it for all these kids every year?
Well, can you imagine if that person would have got shot? Like, what if these kids would have got shot on the school district dime?
So then how are we gonna raise the money then?
I don't know. That's why they said they're going to review. It's not fair. It's not fair, but
Kids
this
been
one
selling
lady
stuff
messes
door
up,
to
man.
door for 50 years.
Yeah, probably longer.
If you count adults, they should do it for a living, selling vacuum cleaners,
You sell the Kirby's.
microwaves,
Nah,
Yeah.
it's from Cutco.
yeah, everything.
So anyway, so that lady out in Arkansas, you can look up the article. I'm not familiar with her name. I'm not giving her that much attention, but she's out there. Mr. Ruiz, you got any shout outs?
Shout out to everybody.
Shout out to everybody. You want to be specific?
Shout out to you, man.
Thank you. I'll take all my shout outs.
Take all prayers.
Yes.
You told me no.
Well, Samar told me that.
About
Well, I did
taking-
tell you that. It's
But-
on the list.
But when you said it, it made sense. Like,
To do what?
why would you turn down
Take
prayer?
prayers.
I
Why
told
would you-
B-Way one
That's true, though.
time.
That's a good point.
We were sitting down at we were going to Two Cousins, the new Two Cousins on East King. Shout out. And I told B-Way, would he take a prayer? Let's just say he was a Buddhist. I'll make something up. I don't want to say what religion it was. And he said, no, it ain't my religion. I said, all prayers are welcome.
Like, why would you not?
It's a thought that counts.
All
That's a good-
prayers
good
are
point.
welcome. If you're shout out your God to me, I'm cool with that. Whether I believe in them or not, I take all prayers are welcome.
It was a good point. So I'm going with it, man. I'm taking all prayers. So I'm taking all shout outs too. So
Take
shout out to
everything
me.
you can get, man. Most people don't give a shit about you.
Shout out to everybody that says Pacific instead of specific. Shout out to you guys, too.
Only one.
No, I don't like those people.
No, I said that.
You said what?
No, I said specific, but I was thinking Pacific in my head.
I heard Pacific.
Well, you heard wrong.
There has to be a backstory to this.
I heard Pacific too.
Thank you.
I
He
heard
like
Pacific.
stumbled with it.
He did.
And he
I
called
just
it
stumbled. There was a stumble there, but I
So
didn't
that's probably
fall.
what I
I didn't hear
heard.
the S. I just heard Pacific.
Put my hand down and stayed up and made a
Oh.
play.
Nah, you might have went down on the first
Yeah.
two.
No, I don't never go down. I always make the first miss. Ask Jack.
What? We never played against each other.
I shot you in the dining room
Oh.
one time.
I tackled you in the dining room. In my dining room. That was me and you.
First
Tackled you
time.
in a-
I made
tackled
him
you in a
miss
ga-
first,
I
man.
tackled
You
you
out
in a
there.
game.
Oh, you said I made him miss first. Mind you, we're at Sunnybrook in
You
a
take it back
dining
to the
room playing
Lincoln
tackle
Wheatland days
football.
like that didn't happen.
What do you mean?
Like, what are you talking
I was
about?
about 300 probably.
What?
I probably had 300 yards rushing.
No, you didn't.
Guess who?
Lincoln?
No. City champs that year at that.
Buddy.
You wear
Oh.
that sequin glove? Remember
No.
that? Remember that glove? You got mad because I ripped your glove? You don't remember that?
No, you were
Oh,
not city
my.
champ. We were city champ.
We played at McCaskey and we won.
We beat you at home.
No, we played again though.
Yeah, we had the same record. What makes you city champs?
That's what they said we were. So that's what
No, you can't just take that.
we celebrated after the last
On the
game.
other side of the city, it was a team with the same record.
But we won the last game.
No, that's garbage.
So was it 1-1?
What was the
Yeah,
series?
it's 1-1. Like,
Then you're co-champs.
no, but it's okay.
Exactly.
You play your whole season, then we play again.
No, it's
Nah,
co.
it's coach.
The game just had
We're
the
city
same record.
champs. We're city champs.
We had
You
the
always
same
get up
record.
more after you lost the first one.
But we won though.
It's co
And
though.
I tackled you several times.
Yeah, all right, but I probably had 3 touchdowns.
Nah.
I don't even remember it, but
You
I'm
done
pretty
scored
sure.
Me and
two
Samara
touchdowns.
Reynolds sucking it up.
Hey, remember I got suspended for the fucking.
Hey, we gotta get out of here, man. Shout out to the 7-letter family, and everybody watching, man. 'Cause I think this is gonna be a big show. Other than that, my wife going through it right now, so make sure,
Shout outs to Mrs. Way,
make
the
sure,
godmother.
keep sending prayers her way. She's doing all right.
How's
She's
she
getting
feeling?
better.
Is she good?
She's fighting. She's tough, but
Just know, Miss Way, I offered to bring you some soup or something. B-Way said you were good though.
well, yeah, he did. He did.
I did. I
Take
did.
off, you know, I'm not gonna throw it out there. He did.
I lose credit for bringing it up. If I'm being neutral, you can't give yourself props for something you didn't. Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, he might.
Yeah,
He might.
yeah, I messed up. You can't give yourself props on something like that's terrible.
Yo, man, we're out of here, man. Make sure you stay laid up, stay prayed up, stay out the way, and listen to what some old folks have to say. See you guys next week. Let's see what we got here. Let's see what I can play. Throwback for you.
Oh, SDE camera.
Classic.
Man, I didn't even promote this on Snap. Some get a lot. Opinionated Facts podcast.
Yeah,
Tune in
yeah.
on Facebook.
Yeah,